Well, our next presenter comes from the Faculty of Education. He is Nathan Reynolds, and he is going to present how do school leaders in secondary school environments establish and maintain engagement with teachers when the agenda is school improvement. Thank you, Nathan. Let's welcome Nathan.
Okay, so I'm going to give you a sort of insight in the type of person I am, I put my research question straight into the heading. So I'm very pragmatic about how I do things. But I'm going to just suggest things as well. And this is probably just to honour the presentations I've heard from Rebecca and I think Samantha today, which is if you feel like standing, you may stand. If you feel like walking around, you may walk around. It will not worry me whatsoever. Actually, I encourage it because sometimes you pace and think. My professors and co-supervisors are Professor David Lynch, who began me on this journey. I came in and I was very encouraged and very excited and was going to do all these things. And he said, Nathan, we don't want world peace here. We want you to contribute to the knowledge pool about this much, and then that will lead to the next thing, and that will lead to the next thing, and that will lead to the next thing. So I've really enjoyed the supervision of Professor Lynch. Okay, so for some people in schools, if you say school improvement or change or evolution, it's like nails down a chalkboard. It's like, what are we doing now? Screech. And then if you look to the other side, it's like, okay, how can we make this better? What are we doing next? So there's this continuum of sort of things that play out in people's minds about school improvement. I was one of those people. Now, I was probably over this end and I was like, yes, let's go this way. This is great. This is fun. But then I'm discounting what is happening on this end. Why the screechy? Why the blackboard? Why the things? Because in schools, if you take another step back, school improvement comes for students. So I'll say that again. We have school improvement for students. And as teachers, we are there to do the best by our students, backed by research. So we have lots of reforms. The sad thing is that in 2018, teacher engagement, which I'm going to define in a second, was at 15%. Now, engagement can be categorised in my thesis into three areas. Vigour. I wake up with energy. I'm ready to go. Absorption. It's almost like flow. You get absorbed into the task and you go, oh, I've lost track of time. And then dedication. I'm going to get this done and I'm going to do a great job. These are the categories of what we call, well, what I've called engagement. Now, as it turns out, there's some relationship between engagement, an engaged teacher, and successful student outcomes. There's a relationship. There's also a relationship around school improvement practices and also engagement as well. Okay, why then the 15%? So then how do school leaders facilitate this school improvement for the students? Okay, I was given advice last night and I tried to put my entire speech on one slide, and if you were to see nothing else for the rest of my presentation, this is it here. So essentially, this is the problem. Engagement for productivity. There is a lack of literature around evidence-based school leadership practices and enabling conditions that assist with engagement. I couldn't find it. I know engagement relates to successful student outcomes, but I don't know what practices a school leader does to facilitate school improvement and keeps them engaged. So this is it in a summary. Mixed method, pragmatic approach. I'll interview principals. I'll get their thematic inquiry about what they're saying about the practices and enabling conditions. And then I'll then take that data, put it in a survey, ask their teachers, and then triangulate back together. And that should provide insights, or at least a little slither of something that can be the leverage of next. Now, I do believe I've got a little bit more time, so I will keep going. What's the next one up here? So engagement, so I'm going to give you the theory side. So I am doing an EDD. It's not a PhD. I probably don't have enough brains for a PhD. And my drug of choice is snakes from Allen's Lolly confectionery and coffee. So that's about as far as my conceptualisation of things go. But in this, I'm going to give you a bit of an overview about how I've gone about doing it. So engagement, school improvement. Right, we need to do school improvement. The first theory I come across is job demand resources. We can all think in our own workplaces, someone comes in, they have this great idea and says we're going that way, and it's either the screech or someone goes, yeah, let's go. Something happens, someone presents a vision and away you go. But nonetheless, change means change, and it increases your demands on your job. There's lots of things that happen. Now, to combat that, or balance it out, we have resources. And these can be physiological resources or these can be psychological resources, but there are resources. Now, I can't solve world peace, so I picked one. I picked one sort of area of resource that I thought, from my experience, that may sort of help. Before I did that, I went full nerd and found all the literature I could, put coloured boxes and little mind maps and put it in a big list and said, what's the practices? And I think there's about 22 authors and just lists and lists and lists. But I like doing it, so that's fine. So these are the practices and enabling conditions that the literature says improves students' outcomes. Okay, good, I've got those. I've got engagement. The next one is, okay, what are some psychological resources or what theory around that can I use to sort of see if these enabling conditions support? And the one that I come up with was self-determination theory. Now, self-determination theory has these things of autonomy, competence, and relatedness. And then I'm going to go, okay, out of all these themes up here, self-determination helps with engagement. But what are school leaders doing that activates that? What is it that a school leader does that can activate those three areas and improve engagement? That's what I'm looking for. And that's hopefully the insights that I'll be able to provide. So this is a research setting. I've got 5 principals and their teachers. I've had a fabulous time. They're very giving people. And like me, they really want to improve student outcomes and they really do care about the teachers that are working with them. They don't know what to do. And some of the things that popped out at the time was, I said, how did you figure this out? How do you know that vision leads engagement? They said, I don't know, just experiences, punches in the nose. Some friend told me. So they themselves are grappling with how to actually function school improvement and have their staff engaged in it. This is just the analysis. This is just my detailed brain, putting it into themes. So I took their transcripts, put it into little themes, categorised it abductively, put it in big lists. And then one side of the slide, you'll see my interviews with principals and the themes that popped out of that. And then from there, that went into a survey. And then hopefully in a couple of months' time, I'll be able to triangulate the whole lot and tie a nice little bow about it and contribute to the knowledge pool. Thank you very much. Questions?
Wonderful, pleasant,
I think I was
very nice presentation, very timely. You actually had a lot more time.
Perfect, this is what I like.
So we have lots of question time. I just want to say that, you know, I taught for many years at a university, and there were so many times when there were these curricular changes coming from the top, and I wish someone had done work like yours that you're doing now to sort of guide the process, because it seemed kind of random as far as I thought, and there wasn't even much time to evaluate how the last one went. So anyway, I'm venting, sorry.
Vent away.
I've retired. So, so excellent work. I really appreciate that.
Thank you.
From someone who used to do it. Okay, so any questions for Nathan? Okay, she beat you, and then I'll come right back down.
Hi, Nathan. Really great presentation,
Thank
but
you,
also short and sweet. Wow, it was really good. I got lots of notes, so that's really good. Nathan, you said you want to contribute to the pool of knowledge. You asked me a question before when I was up as to what do you hope to achieve? What's the thing? So I'll give you back the question you gave to me to tell us what you hope to contribute. Yeah.
Has anyone been a principal in this room? It's tough. Has anyone been a teacher in this room? It's tough. And when someone takes the time to pull all that stuff together, all right, here's a book, read that, here's a book. I really don't have time to read that book. I want someone to do the work, talk to me as a person, provide me with a framework, and help me get that ship going that way. So the very thin slither of things, if I just find something out that will facilitate that conversation between teachers and school leaders, I will be happy.
Thank you.
I just had two things. I just had one comment was that I found it really interesting. One of your subjects was only teaching for 4 years before becoming a principal.
Yes.
Which I don't even know how that happened, but just really interesting. Obviously, it depends on the area they're in and things like that.
I will go to that because this is important.
Happy to help.
Sorry. Yeah, there you go. This is the most generalisable number of principles I could find. I have principles that are at this end. I have principles that are at this end. I have principles from big schools. I have principles from small schools. I couldn't have captured a more eclectic bunch of principles. And the point being, 6 years. Oh. Such is the place we're in now. This is the landscape. You have people going into roles and they have very little tenure. One of the questions was, how have you learnt engagement? And what most of the replies were challenges and crises. That was the theme. So this is how they're learning, and it's it's a pain. It's a pain.
So thrown in the deep end.
Yeah.
And my other question is just a practical question. I want to know how you got that scrolling to happen on your screen.
Oh yeah. So yeah. So that's just embed a video and then autoplay, and it's an actual video that just loops in the background. You just click loop. Yeah. You can get a lot of information out really quickly. Anyway, thank you for the questions. Oh,
There's more.
oh, here's my critique.
It's not a critique.
No.
I love the slides. Fantastic. I suppose, would like to hear you talk more to, you said you're looking for that little strategy, that conversation, whatever it is. Are you focusing on how that could occur from either end of that relationship, or are you particularly looking at it as the principal in this role as the leader could take on? I'd just be interested in hearing more about that theoretically, how you're seeking that in there.
Oh, the theory side I may struggle with and may need to have a bit more look into it. From, I guess, my lens on that one is the survey was developed to provide that insight from teachers from their perspectives. That's that side. So they become a voice within the research to say, well, I know you say vision, but that doesn't engage me, and create a safe space where they can say that. Because every single principal said, how do you engage teachers? Vision. Now that vision is like a 1950s Bass citation of how to engage people. Right, let's go this way. And then you're in it. And then where's the energy? How do you get them in the flow? How do you get them dedicated? But don't just give out beers and Skittles. What in the literature are the practices and enabling conditions that actually help students, and how does that cross over? So don't just do something for nothing, but do something that's really targeted. Coming back to your question, the hope is that it's a balanced view from either side, that the teachers have a voice and that leaders have a voice, and we get something together. For the student, yeah.
One last question from me anyway. Is there a particular color of snake that you find most helpful? Ellen snake?
Red.
Red.
Yes. Red sends all the preppies off their heads. Yes, right.
All right, let's give Nathan a hand.
Thank you very much.